Welcome to the TQS Online ISO 9001-2015 Internal Auditor Training course. We are pleased you chose our course and hope that it will get you on your way to understanding the ISO 9001-2015 and internal auditor requirements. The term QMS will be mentioned throughout this presentation and refers to the quality management system. TQS is a Pittsburgh-based consulting firm established in 1992. Our staff of professional consultants has assisted over 300 clients with the successful implementation of quality systems, including ISO 9001-2008, ISO 9001-2015, AS 9100, ISO 14001, ISO 13485, ISO/IEC 17025, and recently OHSAS 18001. We conduct internal audits for our clients and also provide on-site training. Our lead ISO auditor has prepared this course for you. The course will share his 30-plus years of ISO implementation and auditing experience. The ISO 9001-2015 Table of Contents includes 10 sections and is shown in the next 3 slides. We will discuss each section in detail throughout this presentation. The scope defines how and when the ISO 9001-2015 standard is applied to an organization. This standard is used by an organization to enhance customer satisfaction. All requirements of this international standard are generic and are intended to be applicable to all organizations, regardless of type, size, and product provided. Statutory and regulatory requirements are mentioned throughout this standard and are referred to as legal requirements. This slide further defines how a risk management system is developed. The organization should utilize history of nonconformances and lessons learned from previous experience to help identify potential risks. Risks are ranked by probability of occurrence, severity, ability to detect the risk, and consider the controls in place to address the risks. A process failure mode and effects analysis is a common tool used to identify, rate, and track risks. Let's discuss how this template is completed. Enter the header information to uniquely identify the FMEA. In the first column, enter as concisely as possible the function of the item being analyzed. This includes any business function or operational activity. Next, enter the potential failure mode and the manner in which a potential process failure could occur. A recommended starting point is a review of past things gone wrong, concern reports, NCRs, and group brainstorming. Next, describe the effect of the failure in terms of what the customer, internal and external, may experience. The SEV column is the severity of the nonconformance. Severity should be estimated on a 1 to 10 scale, 1 being not severe and 10 being very severe consequences. Next, list the failure cause and/or failure mechanism for each failure. OCC is the probability of occurrence. Occurrence is the probability that a specific cause or mechanism will occur. Rate the probability of occurrence 1 to 10, 1 being low and 10 being highly probable. Removing or controlling one or more of the cause or mechanisms of the failure mode through a process change is the only way a reduction in occurrence ranking can be effected. Next, list the controls in place which will detect or prevent the nonconformance from occurring. Detection and prevention methods are usually defined in work instructions. DET is the probability to detect the failure. It is usually the ability of the current controls to detect the subsequent failure before the component subsystem is released from production. Rate DET 1 through 10 in the same manner as severity and occurrence. The RPN, or risk probability number, is the sum of S times O times D. This value should be used to prioritize concerns. For higher RPNs, the team must undertake corrective actions to reduce them. Special attention should be given to high severity values. When the failure modes have been ranked or prioritized, corrective action should be first directed at the highest ranked concerns and critical items. Some actions that should be considered are revised test plan, process design, revise material specifications. Enter none to indicate that no actions are required. Next, enter the individual responsible for the recommended action and the target completion date. After action has been completed, enter a brief description of the actual actions taken and the effective date. Lastly, record the resulting severity, occurrence, and detection rankings after the corrective action is implemented. Calculate and record the resulting RPN. All resulting RPN values should be reviewed and further actions taken if required. 7.1.4 defines the requirement to control the environment needed for the operation of processes. The type of environmental conditions to be considered that can affect the conformity of products and services are defined in the note. This clause is similar to and replaces the ISO 9001-2008 clause 6.4 on work environment. The environmental considerations in the note now include social and psychological factors. Add factors of ergonomics and cleanliness, and drop the example of weather. (8.1) defines the requirements for planning and implementing controls on the processes outlined in 4.4 and address the risks defined in the planning of risks sections of the standard. An organization must define the requirements, including acceptance criteria for its processes, the resources needed for those controls, implement the controls, and retain records indicating that the processes have met the acceptance criteria. The organization must implement a process to control changes to its processes and evaluate the consequences of unintended changes. Appropriate action should be taken to mitigate possible adverse effects. Controlling external or outsources processes is defined in Clause 8.4 of the standard.